What is the purpose of a yoni egg? Today we're going to answer this question and a whole lot more, so make sure you stick around all the way to the end because I have some pretty cool information for you. Greetings and welcome to my channel. I'm Dominique Danielle, and today we're going to talk about yoni eggs. What are they? What are the benefits? What's the purpose of working with them? I'll tap into a little bit of the history, and then I'm going to tell you about my very first experience with a yoni egg many moons ago. And finally, I'm going to share with you the yoni eggs that I offer in my shop. And just before we close, I have a question that was submitted by one of our amazing subscribers, so I will be answering that towards the end of the video. So let's hop right into it. What is a yoni egg? A yoni egg is a crystal. Just like this raw piece of rose quartz here, yoni eggs have been cut from raw stones such as this and smoothed into an egg shape. So if you look at this, when I say smooth, I mean completely smooth. There are no ridges, no bumps, no rough edges. This is very smooth. And this particular yoni egg has a hole in it. Not all yoni eggs are drilled, but this one is a drilled yoni egg, so that a string can be inserted into this hole, and that can be used with some resistance or small weights. And this is inserted into the vagina. Now you might be wondering, why on earth would anyone insert a crystal in their vagina? We now know, thanks to people such as modern Taoist master Mantak Chia, that jade eggs have been used in China for thousands of years. Now, jade is another type of stone. And what women used these eggs for was to cultivate their sexual energy in order to strengthen, energize, and bring vitality to their entire body. The Tao, if you're familiar, is all about body systems and vitality and cultivating that energy so that you can live a more healthy and extended life. So now let's talk a little bit about the benefits of yoni eggs. Now I want to first of all stop and give credit to Grace Diaz, who wrote the amazing book, How to Use the Yoni Egg for Sensual Healing. If you don't have this book yet, I highly recommend it. So the yoni egg, as I said, has been used for thousands of years to cultivate sexual energy for the sake of increasing your overall sense of vitality. When you begin working with a yoni egg, you start to become more aware of your vaginal muscles. There is a lot going on in there. And as you become more aware of these vaginal muscles by working with the yoni egg, doing different squeezing and different contractions, you begin to have more mastery over those muscles. And so you can improve your vaginal muscle coordination to where you can squeeze certain muscles in a certain fashion. And this can actually be not just beneficial to strengthening your pelvic floor and to increasing your sexual pleasure, increasing your ability to orgasm, and also increasing your vaginal lubrication. This also can be used during sex with a partner. And so this is an amazing way to really get to know your body, to build that strength, to build that awareness of what your body is capable of, also while bringing that vitality to yourself. Yoni eggs are also great tools to help increase your sexual desire and also build confidence in your own sexual expression. This is also a great tool to work with if you're healing any type of trauma. As we know, as women, we hold a lot of tension, stress. We hold all of our memories, especially if there is any type of trauma that we experience in life. We hold that in our hips, around our hips, in our pelvic area, in the womb. And so a lot of times, if these things go unchecked and unprocessed, they can manifest into different things such as fibroids, endometriosis, menstrual problems, fertility issues. So working with a yoni egg is a great way to work through these issues, to build that awareness so that you can bring that vitality and bring that connection back to your womb, do the releasing that you need to do, and heal yourself physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. So now I want to tell you a little bit about my first yoni egg experience, which was several years ago. My very first yoni egg was a tiger's eye. And I went to this website. I didn't really know much about yoni eggs. and I was pretty much shopping based on price. At that time, I was going through a lot of different things. You guys can watch my first video. I didn't really know my worth, and so everything was about money for me. And I saw a Yoni egg that I wanted. I was eyeing the rose quartz, I was eyeing the black obsidian, and I looked at all the properties, but I said, you know what? Tiger's eye is the cheapest. I'm going to grab that one. So I got this tiger's eye Yoni egg. I was so excited when it arrived at my house. I started working with my egg, and within about 2 weeks, something shifted for me, and I was releasing my egg earlier than I wanted to. So I would insert the egg, and within a few minutes, it would come right back out. And I got so frustrated. I also started to feel a sense of almost shame around the fact that I wasn't able to retain my egg the way I wanted to. And so, of course, as I learned much later in my journey, there were some other things going on there. And we'll talk more about that as we journey throughout this experience on this channel. Long story short, fast forward to today, I moved on from there a couple years later. After that experience, I actually set my egg aside and I didn't use it for a couple years. I took the egg back out one day, still wasn't feeling that connection with the egg. And so then I moved on to a clear quartz egg. And that egg, I really felt very connected to. I did a lot of dream work, especially sleeping with my egg. And I did a lot of healing with that egg. And then finally, I moved on to a jade egg most recently. So that's just a little bit about my Yoni egg journey. And I want to mention something about tiger's eye that I did not know several years ago. And this is why it's so important to do your research. Tiger's eye contains asbestos, among other things. And the last thing you want to put in your yoni is something that can be leaching little tiny microparticles of asbestos. And so I didn't know. I just assumed that since it was a yoni egg, it was safe, right? Wrong. So all of the eggs that I offer in my shop, of course, are IGI certified. They've been inspected by a gemologist to make sure that there are no artificial dyes and polishes, fillers, additives, and all of these stones are what I consider body safe. So that's my Yoni egg journey, and I want to share with you my stones here. So in my shop right now, first of all, you'll find I have clear quartz. This is what I was just telling you about. This is the second egg actually that I worked with in my journey. I love clear quartz because of all the mental clarity. This is a crown chakra stone. So it works with a lot of the higher chakras, but quartz is a very powerful crystal. It's actually considered the master crystal. It can suffice for any stone. If you are working with stones and you happen to want to work with a particular chakra and you don't have a stone that corresponds to that, clear quartz will do it all. So this is a very powerful stone to cleanse and purify your aura. And it's more of a lightweight stone, and it just has such a light and subtle energy. So there's clear quartz. The next stone I have in my shop is rose quartz. I showed you that at the beginning of the video. Rose quartz is also a beautiful energy. Rose quartz deals with the heart chakra, opening the heart. This deals with our compassion and our ability to connect with others. And this also deals with, rose quartz corresponds to the water element. So this also deals with emotions. So we can kind of tie that into the sacral chakra as well. The next segment I want to tell you about is green aventurine. This is a beautiful stone, a beautiful energy to work with. Another heart chakra stone here, okay? And then the next I want to tell you about is rhodonite. Ooh, look at that. Isn't she gorgeous? I wish my camera wasn't so blurry. But of course, on my website, you'll see crystal clear pictures of all of these stones. Rhodonite is a beautiful stone, especially if you are working through releasing trauma and there's a lot of emotions that you want to transmute so that you can take those barriers down, let those things out, and then move into a space of cultivating that heart energy. This is an excellent stone for that transition phase. Beautiful stone. The next stone I want to tell you about is bloodstone. There we go. Bloodstone is super powerful. This stone actually corresponds to all three of the lower chakras, the root, the sacral, and the solar plexus. And you can use it for either of those. It has these red inclusions here. It reminds me of almost a red jasper. And it also is green in other parts of it. And each stone looks slightly different. Bloodstone is a very powerful grounding energy. And if you are working to establish that strong foundation, this is a great stone for that. Next, I want to tell you about black obsidian. I have black obsidian here. And some of these stones, you all, are drilled. Some of them are non-drilled. Some of them I have both. So make sure you go to holisticyoni.com and you'll be able to see everything that I have to offer there. Black obsidian is a powerful stone. It's actually made from pure volcanic ash. And this is so absorbent. This stone will take any toxins, whether they are toxins coming through your computer screen, the EMF radiation, right? Toxins coming from the cell phone towers, emotional toxins. If you're in an environment where there's a lot of people saying or doing things that are interrupting your own energy field, make sure that you're wearing your black obsidian. This is a very powerful protective stone. You can also sleep with this egg in if you're dealing with any type of energy that you want to get rid of, painful memories or things that you haven't healed yet. Very powerful stone. This is like an energetic sponge for anything that you don't need in your life. And finally, I want to tell you about red jasper. I saved the best for last. Actually, I don't want to say the best. All of them are amazing, but red jasper is something that I feel is not talked about as often. And in celebration, I actually have my red jasper earrings on today. Yes. Red jasper is a root chakra stone, and it also corresponds to the sacral chakra. This corresponds to the element of fire. So I consider this stone to be like a generator. It builds strength, stamina, vitality. This stone here, red jasper, will awaken your Kundalini energy. And as that energy begins to spiral up from the base of the spine up through the chakra system, it sends energy and vitality and energizes all of those chakras to revitalize and energize the body. So this is like, think of it like a battery. If you need that jolt, if you've been feeling sluggish, you haven't been quite standing firm in your purpose or speaking up when you know you need to speak up, or if you are feeling any type of, things that make you feel shut down, shame and guilt, especially around sexual issues or trauma, this stone right here is one that will help you to stand in your power. Interestingly, this stone can also help with planning. So if you have long-term plans that you're working on, you feel scattered all over the place, this is a grounding stone. Remember, we're talking about root chakra. So this is going to anchor all those thoughts and ideas and bring it all down into more of a clear and consistent flow so that you can take decisive action and actually get things done that are going to work and move you forward. So red jasper, very powerful stone. I've said a lot about that because I really want you to know how awesome this stone is, and I really don't think it's talked about often enough. Interestingly, right now I have red jasper on sale in my shop. All of my red jaspers, drilled and non-drilled, are on sale. So go over to holisticyoni.com to take advantage of the sale. And if you sign up for my email newsletter, I will give you a bonus discount that you can also apply to the sale. And I'll send you a copy of my free pleasure map, which is an amazing ebook that I just know that you'll love. So before I go, I want to go ahead and share that question with you. The question was submitted by Grace, Yoni Grace, who asked, what is the difference between holistic yoni care and regular yoni care? Holistic yoni care is taking a holistic approach to caring for your womb, your sacred origin of life, your yoni. And by holistic, I mean you're considering the connection between the physical, mental, and emotional and spiritual levels of being. As we mentioned earlier in the video, emotions play a huge role in womb health. And so if we're not considering our stress levels, our relationships, how things are going in all these other aspects of life, how spiritually connected and centered and grounded we feel, and we're only looking at the yoni, which is what I would consider regular yoni care, looking at hygiene and making sure you get, your regular checkups and things like that. If we're not looking at all of those other factors, then we may miss some things, right? We may not understand, why is my yoni experiencing these symptoms, or why am I experiencing this condition? So holistic yoni care, as I said, is taking into account all of those spheres: physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. and seeing how all of those play a role. And I want to share with you a quote here by Queen Afua, who sums it up the best. She says, "The condition of women's wombs also directly reflects the condition of women's minds, spirits, and actions. The womb is a storehouse of all our emotions. It collects every feeling, good and bad." I'm going to skip down to the bottom here. "The condition of a woman's womb also reflects the condition of all her relationships. When a woman's womb is in a healthy state, her life is a reflection of this balance." So there you have it. Like I said, Queen Afua said it best. I hope this answers your question, Grace. Thank you all so much for tuning in today. Make sure you visit holisticyonicare.com to take advantage of the Red Jasper sale. And if you haven't already, click that subscribe button. Make sure you hit the notifications bell so that you can be the first to know every time I upload a new video. Be sure to tune in next week because I'm going to be covering in depth another one of the Yoni eggs and telling you about all of the amazing properties and answering another question that was submitted by a subscriber. And so until we meet again, remember, you get to choose how you show up in life. Love yourself fiercely, own your story, and say yes to you. Namaste.